In the last lecture, we have seen the computer system and operations regarding to the MySQL, that is database creation, and with respect to that, we have seen that how to create a table within the database. So those are some of the things that we have seen from the table creation and database creation point of view, and then modifying the table and the databases. Those are some of the commands with examples we have seen today. So in the last lecture, so today we will be starting with MySQL data types, and then moving ahead we will be seeing some examples from the database creation point of view to alter, modify, update and delete and rename. All this information we are going to see from the example perspective. So we will be creating one database with one table, and then afterwards what we will be doing, we will be using all the six commands simultaneously at the same time. So starting with this today lecture, I will be using that SQL data types we are going to use over here. Okay guys? So as you can see, my SQL data types over here. A data type specifies a particular type of data like integer, float, point, booleans, and so on. So basically speaking, it also defines the possible values for that type, the operations that can be performed on that type, and the way the values of that type are stored. So in basically speaking, in MySQL, each database table has many columns and contains specific data types for each column. So we can determine the data type in MySQL with the following characteristics. The type of the value, that is fixed or variable, it represents the storage space. It takes like based on whether the values are a fixed length or a variable length. Its values can be indexed or not, and how MySQL performs a comparison of values of a particular data type. So MySQL supports a lot of number of SQL standard data types in various categories. So it uses many different data types that can be broken into following categories. The main categories of that data type are categorized as numeric, date one, and time, string type, spatial type, and JSON type. So from your perspective, you will be seeing numeric, date, and time with string types of the data types we are using over here. So this is what we're talking about, the data types. So that you can see in the syllabus also. In the syllabus, you can see it over here. The data types: char, varchar, text, medium text, long, small int, big int, boolean, decimal, float, double, date time, timestamp, year, and the time itself. So these are all the data types that you need to cover it up from the database point of view. For that, the purpose we are going to use in creating the table. Okay, guys. Now continuing to the slides. So starting with that, what we are seeing over here, numeric data type. So basically speaking, MySQL has all the essential SQL numeric data types. So these data types can be included like the exact numeric data types, for example, integer, decimal, numeric, and so on. So basically speaking, the first data type that you will be commonly using one is the numeric. So that means you need to identify which data exists in this category, and then you need to define in that data type, and then you can store those types of values in this numeric data type. So it also supports bit data type to store bit values. In MySQL, numeric data types are categorized into two types, that is signed and unsigned, except for the bit data types. So basically speaking, if we are talking about the numeric data types, the numeric data types again are categorized into two subcategories. And what are the two subcategories? One that is called as signed, and the second one that is called as unsigned data types. So we'll see it in detail over here. What are the signed and the unsigned data types that we're talking about? So the first type that you can see over here is, I'm just going to scroll it out. So tiny int. The first data type that you can see is tiny int. Okay, the smallest one. So it's a very small one, as you can see in the description. It's a very small integer that can be signed or unsigned. If signed, the allowable range is from 128 to 127. If unsigned, the allowed range is from 0 to 255. We can specify a width of up to 4 digits. that it takes like 1 byte of for storage. So simply, generally speaking, if you want to store information which is very small in size, so we can use this type of a data. Okay, so the data type defined over here names is tiny int. Okay, what we use the name tiny int. So as you can see, you can store signed values. Signed values means like negative and so we will be talking about the positive and the negative. So if we are storing that much values over here, so we need to define the value range which is given allocated over here is 128 to 127. And if you don't want to store negative values, then you will get a range of unsigned numbers and which will go from 0 to 255. So we can specify a width of up to 4 digits. It takes 1 byte of storage in short. Okay. In memory, the minimum storage it takes is 1 byte if you're going to store the data. Okay. So now coming to the next one, data type that is known as small int. So what is it actually? The small int, as you can see, it's a small integer that can be signed or unsigned. If signed, the allowable range is from -3 to 7682 to 3 to 767. If unsigned, the allowable range is from 0 to 65535. We can specify a width of up to 5 digits. So it requires 2 bytes of storage. So generally speaking, in tiny int, we are not able to store that much values, only 1 byte was there. So basically speaking over here, you can store larger values and those values are given in the range from like if you're going for signed values -32,768 to 32,767. So this is the range of the values that you can put it over here. And again, in unsigned values, the range is given from 0 to 655,535. So basically speaking, you can store a digit number value which is up to 5 digits values. Means you can store a 5-digit decimal value over here. It requires 2 bytes for storage. So in tiny we are only using 1 byte. Here we require 2 bytes. As you can see, the size and the number has been increased from the data point of view. So medium int, next type that is named as medium int. So it's a medium size integer that can be signed or unsigned. If signed, the allowable range is from -8388608 to 8388607. So if unsigned, the allowable range you want to go for is 0 to 16777 So it's another big value. Okay. So we can specify a width up to 9 digits. So if you want to store a value that is of 9 digits, you can use this data type, medium type, if you have a requirement of the data. So in memory, it requires 3 bytes of storage. So in memory, it will be using a storage capacity of minimum 3 bytes. Okay. And now the next one is called as int that we normally use. So it's a normal size integer that can be signed or unsigned. If signed, that allows the ranges from -21474833684 to 21474836447. So this is the range given for the uh, signed. And if we talk about the unsigned values, unsigned means where negative values can be kept or stored. So the allowable range is from 0 to 429467295. So this is the range that they are being using for the integer value. So this much value you can store. So basically speaking, digit wise decimal, we can specify a width of up to 11 digits. So we can store a number of 11 digit value. It requires 4 bytes of storage. How much is storage is required? It requires 4 bytes of storage. So normally speaking, we use this as a data type, so we can store the numbers as per our requirement. Next one is the big int. So it's a large number that can be signed or unsigned. So if signed, the allowable range is from like it's a very big number 9223372036854775808 to 9223372036854775807. So this is a very big number, so that's why it is being named as big int. What is the name given? Big int. If unsigned, the allowable range is from 0 to 184467700737095551615. So we can specify a width of up to 20 digits. So if you want to store a very big value, big number, so you can go with this big integer, and where we can store a value of 20 digit value. So it requires 8 bytes of storage. So in memory, it will be using how much storage? 8 bytes of storage it requires in the memory. Okay, coming to the next one is the float. So float is basically what we use the fractional values. So if you want to store a fractional value or dotted values, so we use this one, float n comma b. So it's a floating point number that can be unsigned. You can define the display length n and the number of decimals b. This is not required and will default to 10, 2, where 2 is the number of decimals and 10 is the total number of digits including decimal values. Normally you see in the currency point of view. So from the currency perspective, when you write down like 10 rupees, how you write 10.00. So this is the standard they are trying to tell you over here. So two numbers of the digits that will be taken after the decimal value, dot value, and before that also the 10 is a standard over here. The decimal precision can go to 24 places for a floating time. So basically speaking, if you are having a dot, so after dot how many values you can put up? Maximum 24 values you can put it over here. It requires 2 bytes of storage. So from the storage point of view, it will require 2 bytes over here. Okay, then comes the double. That is what you can say is whatever the floating point you are using, now you want to store a very big floating value over there, then we will go with the double one. So it's a decimal double precision. Sorry, it's a double precision floating point number that cannot be unsigned. Like unsigned values cannot be assigned in double. So you can define the display length n and the number of decimals d. This is not required and will default to 16, 4, where 4 is the number of decimals and decimal precision can go up to 53 places for a double. So real as a synonym for double, which is it requires 8 bytes for storage. So basically speaking, you can use the word double and sometimes it is also known as real. So if you see the real word, so that means actually what data type they are talking about double, first of all. And you can store here after dotted values, you can store 53 places. So for 53 places precision values, you can define it over here. So basically speaking, the default is 16 and you can go up to 4 as a default decimal place. Okay, coming to the next one, decimal and comma d, and unpacked floating values, numbers that cannot be unsigned. Basically speaking, as the double is not unsigned, so that's why decimal is also not unsigned over here. In fact, decimal, each decimal corresponds to 1 byte, defining the display length n and the number of decimals d is required. Numeric is a synonym for decimal. So basically, if you are wording using the word numeric, so use the word as decimal. So if someone says numeric data type, so we come to know that this is a decimal data type we are talking about. Okay. So same as it is in the floating point of view, we are defining it. Same as it is over here, we define it over here. Now comes the bit data type. So if you want to store the values in the bit format, you can do it over there. So that is called as bit. So it is used to store bit values into the table column. Here m determines the number of bits per value and that has a range of 1 to 64. Okay, so this is the bit representation. So you can store the bit value in bitwise information and which will be given in the range of 1 to 64. So 1 to 64 bits you can define it over here in the data point of view. Then comes the next one, bool, that is boolean. So it is used only for the true and false condition. It considered numeric values 1 as true and 0 as false. So basically speaking, when we try to define true and false type of a things, so we go with this bool function. So either the value can be true or either the value can be false. So if it is true, we can write 1. If it is false, we write 0. So both are equivalent over here. So if we want to store these types of values like yes or no type of a value, then we can definitely use this boolean or bool data type. And similarly, we have another one, boolean, as I told you. Boolean is similar to bool, so there is no change. So the only thing is, whenever you are using the word bool, it will also work, as well as if you are using the word boolean, it will also work. The shortened name is bool and the longer name is boolean. So both data types are accepted over here, and in short, both are same. Okay, at the same time. Okay, now after the numeric one, what we are seeing, date and time data types. What we are seeing over here, date and time data types. So this data type is used to represent temporal values such as date, time, date time, timestamp, and year. So each temporal type contains values including 0. When we insert the invalid value, MySQL cannot represent it, and then 0 value is used. The following table illustrates all date and time data types that supports in MySQL. So now we will be seeing the specific categories regarding to the date and time data type values. Okay. Okay. Now coming to that, what you can see over here is data type syntax. Like how will you write it down? So suppose if you want to use year, you will write down like this year, and in the parentheses you will write like either 2 or 4 decimal values or digit values. So year value as 2 digit or 4 digit. 2 digit means like for example if I'm writing 2020, so it's a 4 digit, and if I'm writing 20, that is called as 2 digits value. Okay, so you can specify the year in either two number value or 4 number values over here, which is our decimal. So the default is 4 digit. It takes 1 byte for storage. So if you don't define any specification, so by default it will take 4 digit value by default. Okay. And if you specify 2 over here, so then it will take 2 decimal values. So I hope so this is clear to everyone from the year point of view. Now coming to the next one, date type syntax over here is date. So as you can see in the date, the values or you can say range is from 1000 hyphen 01 hyphen 01 to 999 to 1231. So that means displays the year, that is the first one, then hyphen followed by the month, and then hyphen followed by the day. So in simple words, what we're trying to define over here is the date format, and the date format will be in this form only, YYY and BBB. So it takes 3 bytes of storage. So normally speaking, it will take 3 bytes of storage in the memory. So 3 bytes of storage will be used by this date type. Next one is the time. So here time, that value range from 838 column 59 column 59 to 838 column 59 column 59. Displays as hours, minutes, and seconds. The timing will be default here in hours first, then minutes, and then seconds over here. It takes 3 bytes plus fractional seconds of our storage. So if you want to use this type of data type, we will use the time based on what hours, minutes, and seconds. Okay. Then the next one is the date and time. the value range, as you can see from, is like 10000 1000 to 111, and time is also given over there, 00000 to 99999 till 2131. Okay, and 23 59 59. So this is the range that they are providing over here, an arbitrary range for date and time. So displays as year, month, and day. That is hours, minutes, and seconds. So it takes 5 bytes plus fractional seconds for storage. So this is the range defined for the date and time. So if you want to store both date and time at the same time in one single data value, you can use this one, date time. Okay. Coming to the next one, as you can see, timestamp. So what is the timestamp over here? Like value range from 1970 to 111. So timing is given over here in seconds wise. Hours is 00, minutes is 00, and second is 01. And UTC is standard, we are going to follow over here, standard time 20380119. So basically speaking, here again we are going to use what? Store the values of date and time. Okay, but again it will be used to store as a standard time over here, like displays hours, minutes, and seconds with respect to year, month, and date. It takes 4 bytes plus fractional data storage for the storage over here. So these time values can be generated by the system, okay, or can be system defined that we are going to use over here. So basically speaking, this timestamp will be there, and again, if you want to store the data which is based on timestamp, you can use this type over here. Okay, guys. So coming to the next one, string data types. So till here we have seen the numeric values, the date and time values, and now we are seeing what string values. So basically speaking, the next category of the data that we are going to show is a string. So the string data type is used to hold plain text and binary data, for example, files, images, etc. So MySQL can perform searching and comparison of string values based on the pattern with matching like operators, regular expressions, and so on. So basically speaking, if we are going to store string values, so you can do multiple operations on the string values. So basically speaking, you can see it from the first one, that is char, char, pronounced as char, full form is character, so we choose the short name char, and then we need to define the size in the round parenthesis. So basically speaking, the maximum size over here is it can have up to maximum size of 255 characters. So here the size is the number of characters to store. The fixed length string is padded on the right to equal size characters. So if we are talking about a character, in a character we can store only one character over here, and that can be a maximum size of 255. Okay. So if we are using a char value, so we cannot store like yes, we can store only y. So this is what we are talking about the char. Coming to the next one, varchar, then it can have a maximum size of 255 characters. So here the size is the number of characters to store variable length string. So that means you can store as much as you can, like let's say if I want to store like hello, how are you, again I can use what this varchar. So you can store a variable length of the value, and each and every character that you are going to store over here will be again having a size of what 255 characters. Clear? So instead of using one single char, we are using multiple characters. So we use the word as varchar. Then we have tiny text. So it has a maximum again size of 255 characters. So here size is the number of characters to store, basically speaking. So whatever the text you want to store in small character formats, you can use this one, tiny text. Then text, maximum size of 65535 characters. Like text stores a large number of values, as you can see. So here the number of records to store is defined in the size over here. So if we are going to store a smallest value, the smallest value will take in the memory based on what 655 size. Okay. Okay. Then we have the medium text size. Like it can have a maximum size of 16777,215 characters. So here the size again the number of characters being stored. So that means if you are having a large value and you want to store large number of characters, then you can go for the medium text. If you are not having that much large, just a smaller one, then you can go for the text size. These are the variations that they are giving over here from the text and characters point of view. Okay guys? Then you are having long text size. It can have a maximum size of 4 GB, or you can say 429467295 characters. So this much characters can be kept in this long text size. So here the size is the number of characters basically we store. So suppose if you want to store like a paragraph or pages type of information, you can go for this one that is called as long text. And basically speaking, it stores too much of the memory, so that's why we use 4 GB of the space. Okay, so if you are using this type, so you make sure that your storage is having that much capacity to store the data. And then comes the binary size. So it can have a maximum size of 255 characters. Here the size is the number of binary characters to store. Fixed and space are padded on the right to equal size characters. So basically speaking, this is a data type which is being used in MySQL. So it is being introduced in MySQL version 4.1.2. So if you are using older version other than the 4, so you won't be able to use this data type over here. So this data type is only introduced in 4.1.2. So what I suggest you do when you are going to install the SQL interface system, try to install the latest version so that you can use all the data types. Okay guys? And where binary is there, it can have a maximum size of 255 characters. Here the size is the number of characters to store variable length strings. Again, it is introduced in MySQL 4.1.2. Okay, so where binary is again the data type that we will be defining from the binary point of view, but here in the character format we will be using this one. Okay, so I hope so this is clear to everyone. So as you can see, there are other data types also available over here, but from your point of view, from the exam point of view, we should be aware of these character, marker, as you have seen, text, medium text, long text, small int, big int, boolean, decimal, float, double, date, then you have date time, timestamp, year, and the time. So basically speaking, these all data types that we have covered today. So these are some of the data types that we will be using. So now we will be seeing an example, and in that example we will be doing what? Creating the specific table with the specific data types, and then we try to store some information into it using the commands. Okay guys? So basically speaking, the example point of view, what we have seen, like we have seen the drop commands in the last one from the SQL table structure point of view. So what we are doing over here is just one simple concept that we are just taking a recap over here. MySQL we use what drop to multiple tables as well as that is possible. So in the last examples we were using only one single table has been dropped. So now if you want to drop multiple tables, what is the syntax? Drop table and then table name. Each and every table name can be separated by commas. So this is how we can delete what? Multiple tables simultaneously. Okay guys? Now there is another command over there called as truncate. So the distance between the truncate and table, these are both are used for deleting purposes. So here there is a little bit of a difference over here. So as you can see, drop table command is used to delete the table with the data, but here the truncate table is used to only delete the table data, not the table structure. Or you can say the schema. We are talking about the table. So the table schema is not deleted, only the data that is in that table is deleted. So at that time, instead of using the drop table command, you can go with the truncate. Why? Because if you use a drop table command and you will delete the table and the data, and suppose if you want to store some other data into the same table, so you need to create the table again. So to save that time, we can use the help of the truncate command. So the truncate command will do what? It will actually delete all the values from the table and create one empty table for you. It's like a neutral table. So this is what you need to know and understand about regarding to the truncate table and the drop table over here. Okay guys? So here in this example, what we are doing, we are creating a table. We have this one as test. So what is the command written over here? Create table test, non versus open. So ID, that is the name of the column. Int, that is the data type that we just discussed now. And then we are using the function. The function is called as auto increment. What it will do, it will automatically increase the value based on the previous value. And then the primary key. So the primary key is the constraints that we are applying on that ID. So this ID will be treated as a unique value which will not have the duplicate value at all. Duplicate values are not allowed over here. For that purpose we are using a constraint, and that constraint is named as primary key. Then next column separated by the comma, you can see on the next line, that is name. Again, data type we are using a different one for the name, as we have said. Character should be there, so char will not work, so we use the varchar, and we are defining the size is 5, so 5 characters can be inputted over here for the name only. And not null, not null simply says here you cannot put it as empty. So again, this is the type of the constraint that we are applying over here on this column. And then afterwards creating this table and this specifying empty columns, and then curly around this is close and semicolon. So if I want to see whether the table is, how does it look like, what is the structure or schema of the table, you can use the command describe. So describe is the command to see the schema of the table, or you can say structure of the table, which will show us the details. So what is this? Test. On the test, what you can see, field is the column, type, null, key, default, and extra. So these are what? These are all the columns over here from the description point of view. So ID and the name is the field. I think these are the two tables column name with the specific data type, integer and varchar. Null, like not allowed over here, so no. Key is applied, constraint is applied on that ID. So you can see PRI, primary key. Default value is null. Okay, that is set over here. And extra, we have some other specification added to here as a function. So what is the function we are using over here? Auto increment. So this is what you can see in the describe test command over here, which is showing you that this particular table has been created, and with all this specification and description given on the table. Okay. So now what we'll do, as an example, we will try to add a new column. A new column we will specify on the specific location that we were saying in the last example. Okay guys? Here in this example, what you are going to see, that is we are adding two columns over here. So based on that, alter table test, that is what we are doing, modifying. So for modification purpose, what is the command that we are going to use? Alter table test. And then what we are writing, add column city varchar 30. So this city will have a data type as varchar 30, with the 30 characters can be specified over here. Not null, it should not be empty. Okay, and then semicolon. So what it did, it added one column which is the name test. Again you want to add another column. How you can write it down? Alter table test, add column, phone number, varchar 20, not null, after the name. So what will happen, this column will be added, but it will be specified on a specific location. So what is the location? That is after the name. So after the name it will be added. So now I want to see whether that columns has been added or not. So I can use the command describe test. So what you can see over here, ID, name, phone number and city. So these are the column names. So as you can see, the column phone number is just coming after this name. Okay, so this is the same command that we are given over here. Otherwise, what will happen if you don't write that one after name? The phone number will go after that city, because city is the last column that we have added over there. and the data type is given that we have defined already. Null is also no, primary key is there, same as it is. So other changes are not done, other things are same as it is. The only thing is what are the two new columns we are adding it, we are seeing it over here. Okay guys, clear? Any doubt in this part? So this is what we are trying to tell you over here, that is how we can alter the table, that is adding a column to that table over here. Okay, so in the last example from the sessions also, what we were trying to create a concept over is like creating the database, creating the tables, modifying the tables. So that is all done. Now what we want to do, we want to put the data. Finally, what we are doing over here, we are putting all the information into the computer. That is something we would have missed, adding the information into the computer. Okay, so for that purpose in MySQL we will be using the command, and the command is known as insert. So let us add some data into the test table using the insert statement as follows. So as you can see, insert into test name, phone number, city. Okay, so these are the columns over here. So values like Peter, comma, then the phone number I'm specifying it over there, California, comma, then again second value I'm going to enter over here is Mike, then a comma, then again I'm using the phone number, and then the city Texas. So what is this? This is how what we are doing. We are adding multiple values into the table. So this is the same sequence you need to follow. And when you are stopped, there is no more data you need to enter. Just put the semicolon at the end. Okay. So when you run this command, it will show you the output like this. So what you can see over here is insert into test, name, phone number, and city, values, and then you specify the values over here. Okay, so it will show you the message query okay, 2 rows affected, record 2, duplicate 0, and warning 0. Okay, so what is this? This is just letting you know that the records has been added. So record means the data. So here the collection of data, the information, we use the word as records. So if we want to represent the information into the computer, now we will be using the word records instead of using the word data or information. Okay guys, so if I want to show the information from the table, like what are the values that I have inserted, so I'm using another command over here. The command is called select. So if I want to show all the information, so I'll be using a wildcard. There is one special character, and that is called a star. Star means for all the things. Asterisk we use the word. So select star, and then you can see from test. So from is the keyword that you need to write it down, and then afterwards you will need to write down the table name. So what is the syntax over here? Select is the keyword. Again, from is the keyword. Star and test is the variable. Star means for all I'm using star. Otherwise, if I want specific column name, I need to write down that specific column name. Okay. And test is the name of the table. So what are the tables you want to show it? From which the table data that you can specify in this way. So as you can see at the bottom, the output will be shown. Student ID, name, phone number, and city. So this is how your tables look like in your database. Okay. Clear everyone? So this is how we are doing what? Managing our data. That is, like first step was creating the database, then in that database what we are doing, we are creating the tables, and after creating the tables, what we are now doing is inserting the values, and afterwards we need to show those values, whether the values has been stored in the database or not. Okay guys, so this is how we do what? Create and use the data with the help of MySQL. So continuing with the same example, so now what we're doing over here, we are going to add two more columns here. So as you can see on the screen, like alter table test and then add column, then branch is the column name I'm going to add into the table. Varchar is the data type, default null. So I'm putting null over there as a default. After name. So this particular branch will come after the name. Okay. So add column email, comma, that is the second column I'm adding over here with the help of the same command. Then email, then branch, then again 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 ema and then varchar 20 is been given, that is 20 is the size for that column I'm putting over here character, and the default null after phone number. So that is again both the columns will be added, but branch column will come after name and the email column will after phone number. So if I want to show it, you can show the contents of the table using the select. So select, same command I'm using, select star for test. So as you can see over here, student ID, name afterwards you can see the branch which is having null values, phone number, email is also null, and then city. So this is what we can do to add the values as well as using the command called as alter table test. Yeah. So this is how we can do what? Add the columns as well as. And again, if you want to add the same column again, so it will throw an error. So make sure the columns that you are adding into the table doesn't exist already. So it will give you an error of exception. Just as like the column name or table name exists already, so you cannot add this column. Clear? So I hope so this is clear to everyone. So next time we will continue from here onwards, where we will see that how we can use the constraints in general. So we will be seeing primary key, foreign keys, and so on. So we will be seeing from the example point of view constraints over there. Okay, guys. So I hope so this is clear to everyone. And thank you very much. Thank you to all. And if you are having any doubts and queries, please let me know in the comment section so that I can revert back to you. Okay, guys. Thanks once again and have a good day.